Good afternoon. Actually, it's really late. So, good evening. Happy Wednesday. It's probably Thursday by the time you guys see this, but it is a Wiffle Wednesday. I am your host and commissioner for Warrenton's finest fantasy football league, and I'm here to give you the week 4 recap and the week 5 preview. Boy, I gotta tell you, when the season was getting ready to start, and I was telling my wife that I was going to be doing fantasy football again, she said, "Aren't you tired of wasting money and losing for 20 straight years?" And I said, "No, I want more of that." So here we are. And, first 2 weeks started out really well. I won the prop bet, it wasn't rigged. And I won my first 2 games, 2-0, feeling pretty confident. And then I lose a heartbreaker to Jason after going to bed on Monday night. Okay, it happens. Jason's 3-0, no big deal. Then I'm going up against Sean. Sean, depleted by injuries. Oh, everyone feels sorry for me. I'm Sean. Injuries. Not falling for it, Sean, because what did you do? You went and beat your projection by 16 points. And I lose. 115 to 105. Oh, yeah, so we're into the recap. Jeff Boys versus the Creature. And I would have never not done this, but if I hadn't, so I can't help but not do this mental game. If I hadn't played the Packers defense, and I played the Rams, I would have won because they got me -5. -5. I think we need to pull defenses and kickers maybe next year. Maybe that's the next thing that we vote on is getting rid of kickers and defense. We'll add an additional flex position. Anyways, I lost, and I'm pretty upset about it, but not so upset that it will stop me from losing next week. All right, next up, we had a slightly above average team. Oh, Jason. Now David Montgomery. Now, instead of 30 points after midnight, he's going to give you 1.2 points. Ha! What the heck? Anyways, congrats, Hannah. You were not supposed to win this game. And you had scored, I think, 67 and 74 points total the previous 2 weeks when you had lost. And you scored 149 points. That is a lot of points. And you crushed Jason, 149 to 91. Jason, if I'd played you this week, I would have won. But I didn't, so I lost. And you lost. So you're 3-1. Hannah's 2-2. Oh, yeah, I'm 2-2. And Sean, I believe, is 3-1. Nope, 2-2. Okay, and Jason, I mean, on your bench, you did have a lot of points left on the bench, but nothing would have saved you from Hannah. Jordan Love, 27. Bucky Irving. Bucky, a man named Bucky, not a gas station, 25. DK Metcalf, 23. Just a lot of points. You did a great job. Good job. Dampon, taking on It's Gonna Be May. And both of these fellas needed momentum, and they both won their first game last week, and they both knew that was going to end this week for one of them. And for Steven, it ended. Dan wins 125. Dan, not bad. 125 to 96. -1 for your defense. Not as bad as mine, Steven. But it's sad. You wasted a 36.5 performance by Ashton Jeanty, never heard his name actually said. Giante, Ashton Giante for the Raiders, 36 points. And your kicker got you 19. And you still lost. But Malik Neighbors, what a devastating blow that was. So, you get a pass. But on your bench, Drake May, Kenneth Gainwell, I don't even know who that is, 28 points. What's going on here? 81 points on your bench. Steven, you've got a high-scoring bench, my friend. That's 2 weeks in a row. No, it's whatever. All right, next up, we had Carlos taking on Matt. And guys, this one was pretty close going into the final night. And Matt, we were all rooting for you to lose because Carlos, we were all rooting for you to actually lose too, because it's kind of, well, I was rooting. I just need a buffer between me and last place, honestly. That's all I need. And Carlos, I feel bad that it was you because this was your best chance. You had, you were projected to lose 116 to 110, and you lost 121 to 112. But it was close. If it hadn't been for the fact that the Bengals decided that an offensive line is like more like an idea and not something that they actually need. I mean, Joe Burrow's going out, huge loss because this other dude is not a miracle worker and can't get the ball to anybody. Poor Jamar Chase. I mean, only 4.8 points. That should be a guaranteed 15 to 20 points every week. And if it was, you would have won. Is there anything in your bench that could have saved you? Woody Marks. Yeah, that's what I told you. Hey, Carlos, make sure you start Woody Marks for the Texans. 25.9 on your bench. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. But, so Carlos is 0-4. Matt is 4-0. We're all thrilled for you, Matt. Thrilled. Next up, we had Michael and Mike, the battle of the M's. And Mike, our defending league champ, projection was really close, 115 to 114. And this was a very close game, but it didn't come down to Monday night. This game was decided Sunday. And Michael squeaks out a win despite his kicker getting him -2 points. Oh, 106.08 to 104.78. More on that score of 104.78 in just a second. Yeah, Mike, you had some folks on the bench, but so did Michael. That was just a tough loss. Tough loss, tough game, close game, hard stuff. Then we had Greg taking on Brandon, and both teams were with different records, so I don't know what I was about to say. Both teams are now 2-2. And this one was projected Brandon to win, and congratulations, Brandon. You won, 119 to 104. And Greg, if you had started old air balloon head himself, Mr. Helmet, the size of just 3 people, Romeo Dobbs, 26 on your bench. Baker has 20 on your bench. I mean, Sam Darnold did pretty well as well, but Romeo Dobbs, that was the difference maker. Now, here's the thing. Okay, so that's all we'll go through the standings in a second. The prop bet this week was for the highest scoring losing team would win. And I had a tiebreaker, which would have been bench points, but I was like, it would never come down to a tiebreaker. But guys, take a look at this. Mike and Greg both scored 104.78. How amazing is that? Now, granted, that was the third highest scoring losing teams. I had 105.16, so I was the second place loser. I can't even lose right. And yeah, the winner for that was Carlos. Carlos, our 2-time prop bet winner. Congratulations. Something for you to be happy about. You spent $50 to be 0-4, but you've gotten 20 of it back already. And there's still 10 weeks of the regular season left. You could still go 10-4. Anything is possible. Probably not that. Anyways, but our prop bet for this week. No, let me do projections because the two are connected. I keep looking at the screen, but I feel like I should look at the camera to make eye contact, but I can't help but not look right at me. So anyways, if you notice my eyes shifting around. Actually, when you guys are having conversations with people, what eye do you stare at? Do you to pick an eye and make eye contact? I did like interviews recently, and I was trying to yeah, it's a great point. Ooh, good question. Well, here's my and so I just kept shifting between I can't look away. Then my eye started to water, and I was in a room where a window was behind them, and it was so bright. So I feel like I was blinking a lot, and I was trying to stare at their one. Anyways, I haven't gotten a call back. Not surprising. Okay, so our week 5 prop bet is tied to projections. So let me pull up the projections, and we will just take a look at week 5. Our matchups for week 5. The Dallas Jeff Boys, 2-2, taking on Dan Pond, 2-2. Projection right now, 110.2 for Jeff, 110.9 for Dan. How interesting. Next up, the Queen, 2-2, taking on Steven, 1-3. Projection, Hannah, 93.2 to Steven's 99.5. Next up, Creature taking on Jason. So Sean and Jason, 2-2 for Sean, 3-1 for Jason. Projection, Sean 100.2 to Jason's 107.5. Matt taking on Mike, 4-0 to 2-2. Matt's projected 113.6, and Mike, I don't think you've adjusted your lineup yet. You projected 70 points. Take a look at that. Brandon taking on Carlos, 2-2 Brandon, 0-4 Carlos, 112.2 for Brandon, 98.5 for Carlos. The final matchup, Greg, 2-2 taking on Michael, 2-2. Greg's projected 93.5 to Michael's 102.3. Okay, so the week 5 prop bet is the team that exceeds their projected point total and wins is the winner. So you must A, win, B, you must have outscored your own projection by the highest margin. Now, I can tell that some people would try to we're not using Mike's 70.7. The app is actually quite smart. It will tell you what your locked in projection was prior to the start of the first game. So everyone's going to have a chance. The projections I just read out, that's not what we're going off of. This will keep track of what everyone's projected score was at the beginning of the game, and at the end when the dust settles, I'll be going through with an abacus or a calculator, and I'll go through and I'll subtract actual point from the scored point. So it must be the winning team. You got to win, and you need to have exceeded your projected point total by the largest margin. So for example, if you projected 112 points and you scored 114, that's a margin of 2. Not a lot. If your projection was 120 and your score was 121, that's 1 point. The other person would have won. If, however, your projection was 98 and you scored 136, you win. Okay, so that's how it works. Very simple. I didn't have to break that down. You guys are smart-ish. So that's how that's going to work. Tiebreaker for that one will come. Oh, so if it's a tiebreaker, if people have the exact same amount, the bench points also have projected points. We will go to that as the next tier. If that happens to be tied, then we will use the tiebreaker of, I had it in my head earlier. Oh, no. If that's a tie, we'll split the money because I can't think of another thing. The other thing is if nobody exceeds their projected total and wins, if by some miracle that happens, I don't know how that would even be possible. It would just go down to the person with the highest scoring team for that week. So it shouldn't come to that. But anyways, that's it. All right. I'm tired. Good night. Have a great week. Check your lineups. Bye.